Reggie Thomas stepped out of Samir's market, the familiar jingle of the bell above the door echoing faintly behind him. The sun hung high over Orange Mound, casting a warm, golden glow on the cracked sidewalks and weathered brick homes that lined Pendleton Street. It was a Sunday in May, the kind where the breeze carried the distant hum of lawnmowers and the faint cheers from living rooms tuned to the Grizzlies' game. Reggie adjusted the cloth bag on his shoulder, feeling the weight of the milk, potatoes, and loaf of bread shift slightly. He walked slow as he always did, his left leg dragging just a touch from the old wound that never quite let go. Afghanistan, 2006. The mortar blast had ripped through his thigh like fire, embedding shrapnel that surgeons couldn't fully remove. It ended his tour, sent him home with a purple heart and a limp that became part of him, like an unwanted shadow. But Reggie didn't dwell on it. He wore his army cap low, the faded insignia a quiet badge of honor. In Orange Mound, he was known not for his service overseas, but for his kindness here, handing out dollar bills to kids for good grades, waving to neighbors with a nod that said, "I see you." He was 62 now, a warehouse retiree who raised his daughter Vanessa alone after her mother passed from cancer a decade ago. Life was simple: walks to the store, chats with Samir about football, and evenings on his porch watching the world go by. Today felt no different. "You're still rooting for those Titans, Mr. Thomas. They'll win a ring before I hit 70. Just watch." Samir had teased as Reggie paid in cash. Reggie grinned, his deep laugh rumbling like distant thunder. "Keep dreaming, Samir, keep dreaming." He stepped outside, the door clicking shut, and started up Pendleton. The street was quiet, unusually so. Most folks inside, glued to their TV. Reggie hummed an old Motown tune under his breath, his mind on dinner, mashed potatoes, maybe some canned peaches if he felt indulgent. He didn't notice the squad car at first. It crept up a few blocks behind, silent as a predator. Then the tires squealed, a sharp, piercing sound that cut through the afternoon calm. Reggie turned, startled, his bag swinging lightly. The siren blared once, a short burst, and the cruiser slowed to a stop across the intersection. Reggie's heart skipped. Not fear, not yet, just confusion. He expected the car to speed past, chasing some real trouble, but the driver's door flew open. "Hey, hey." The voice barked, sharp and commanding. Officer Brian Dallard emerged, young, mid-30s, his uniform crisp, but his face flushed. Reggie blinked, his mind racing to make sense of it. "Put your hands where I can see 'em. What's going on?" Reggie called back, his voice steady but laced with bewilderment. He took half a step back onto the sidewalk, his palm facing out instinctively. The bag dangled from his other hand. "Don't move." Dallard's weapon was out now, drawn in a flash, pointed straight at Reggie's chest. Time slowed. Reggie's breath caught. He froze, the way they'd drilled into him in basic training. Show palms, speak slow, no sudden moves. But this wasn't a war zone. This was home. The grocery bag slipped from his grip, thudding to the ground. Milk rolled onto the curb, potatoes scattering like forgotten marbles. Reggie raised both hands now, palms open. "Sir, I'm not." The shot cracked like lightning, shattering the stillness. A searing pain tore through Reggie's right arm, just above the elbow. He stumbled backward, his heel catching the curb, and hit the ground hard. Blood bloomed on his shirt, warm and sticky, soaking through in seconds. His mind spun disbelief, shock, agony exploding in waves. "I didn't do anything," he whispered, pressing his left hand to the wound, fingers going numb. Across the street, Mrs. Laverne Jamison stepped onto her porch with a glass of sweet tea. Her eyes widened, the glass slipping from her fingers, shattering on the steps. "Reggie, Reggie, what happened?" She ran barefoot toward him, her floral dress fluttering. "Stay back. This man is armed." Dullard shouted, his gun still trained, shaking in his grip. His voice cracked into the radio. "Officer down. Suspect charged me. I repeat, shots fired." "He don't got nothing on him," Laverne yelled back, crouching beside Reggie despite the warning. She pressed her cardigan to the wound, her hands trembling but firm. "Stay with me, baby. Just breathe. You hear me? Just breathe." Reggie stared up at the sky, dazed, the blue expanse blurring. "I didn't do nothing," he repeated, softer, the words fading into the echo of the shot. Sirens wailed in the distance, growing louder. Neighbors emerged, some recording on phones, others screaming, a few praying. A young man, Corey, 17, held his phone steady, capturing every second. "Get that gun off him," someone yelled. More patrol cars roared in, lights flashing red and blue, washing over the scene like a storm. Officers spilled out, securing the area. An older cop jogged over to Dullard, Brian, weapon down. Dullard blinked, lowering his gun, his chest heaving. He looked lost, mumbling. "He moved on me. I feared for my life." EMT arrived, pushing Laverne aside gently. They cut Reggie's sleeve, applied pressure, started Roman 4. Reggie groaned faintly as they strapped him to the stretcher. He was walking. Laverne snapped at the officers, groceries in his damn hand. The crowd grew. Teenagers, parents, church folks in Sunday clothes. Whispers rippled. "That could have been my daddy. He's been here 20 years, same walk every day." Dullard stood off to the side, surrounded by colleagues. Body cam on. One asked, "Yeah." He replied flatly, "It'll speak for itself." At Regional 1 hospital, Reggie faded in and out. The bullet had shattered his humerus. Surgery needed, permanent damage likely. Vanessa arrived, tears streaming, holding his hand. "Daddy, what happened?" "Just walking home," he murmured, lips dry. He raised the gun. No reason. Back on Pendleton, detectives canvassed, gathering footage. Corey's video spread online. Shaky but clear. Reggie hands up. No lunge, just the shot. The department's statement came quick. Officer, involved shooting. Suspect exhibited threatening behavior. No names, no context. By evening, people gathered outside the precinct, holding signs, phones aloft. The neighborhood wasn't waiting for official truth. Reggie, groggy in his hospital bed, whispered to Vanessa, "They're gonna twist it." But the footage was out, and the truth was fighting back. As the sun dipped lower, casting long shadows over Memphis, the chaos on Pendleton Street morphed into a tense vigil. Reggie lay in the hospital bed, the sterile white walls closing in, the beep of monitors a constant reminder of how fragile life had become. Pain radiated from his arm, a burning throb that no morphine could fully dull. Vanessa sat beside him, her hand gripping his like a lifeline, her eyes red from silent tears. "They're saying you were threatening," she whispered, scrolling through her phone. "How with bread?" Reggie closed his eyes, the scene replaying in his mind. The squeal of tires, the bark of commands, the crack of the gun. "Fear makes people see what ain't there," he said softly. He'd seen it in war, soldiers firing at shadows, mistaking wind for whispers of ambush. But here, in his own neighborhood, it stung deeper. He was no enemy combatant. He was a father, a veteran, a man buying milk. Outside the hospital, news vans clustered, reporters thrusting microphones at anyone who emerged. Laverne Jamison, still in her blood-spotted blouse, spoke to one. "I saw it all. Reggie wasn't armed. He didn't charge. That officer just panicked." Her voice trembled, but her gaze was steel. Corey, the teen with the video, had uploaded it, views climbing by the thousands. At the precinct, Officer Dallard sat in a dimly lit room, his uniform rumpled, hands clasped tight. His lieutenant, Harold Burnham, patted his back. "You did what you had to, split-second decision," but Dallard's eyes were haunted. He looked like he was reaching. He muttered. The body cam footage was being reviewed. 2 minutes and 43 seconds that would define everything. In it, no clear command, no visible threat, just a man with groceries and a limp. The community stirred. Reverend Alvin Key from the local Baptist church called an impromptu gathering in the church lot. Folks arrived in waves, old women in folding chairs, high schoolers on car hoods, parents with babies on hips. "We are tired," the Reverend boomed, "of good men treated like suspects because they fit someone's fear." Applause rippled, slow and resolute. A mural artist, Terrence Miles, sketched on a nearby wall. Reggie in his army uniform, hand raised in pride, "Not surrender." "You saw threat. We saw neighbor." Vanessa left the hospital briefly to meet civil rights attorney Joel Sims, a sharp woman with a no-nonsense edge. In a coffee shop nearby, Sims laid out files. "The footage is damning, but they'll spin it as perceived threat. We go public interviews, statements. Let the people decide while we prep legally." Vanessa nodded, fire in her eyes. "He served this country, and this is how he's repaid." Back at the hospital, Reggie's old army buddy, Andre Vicks, arrived after seeing the news. "Remember cost? You didn't shoot till you knew." Reggie nodded weakly. That cop had assumptions, not training. They shared coffee, memories bridging the pain. As dusk fell, protesters blocked the courthouse steps, projecting the footage on walls. The DA, Travis Renner, faced the press. "We're reviewing urgently," but urgency felt hollow. Reggie, watching from his bed, felt the weight of it all. "This ain't just about me," he told Vanessa. "It's every black man told silence means safety." The night deepened, but the day wasn't over. Calls flooded the PD, demands for Dallard's arrest. In Orange Mound, candles flickered on porches, a silent stand. Reggie drifted to sleep, dreaming of rotors and dirt blending war with home. Night enveloped Memphis, but the city's pulse quickened. In the hospital, Reggie stirred awake, his arm a dull ache under the brace. Vanessa dozed in the chair, phone buzzing with updates. The footage had gone viral, national outlets picking it up, analysts dissecting every frame. "This isn't threatening," one said on CNN. "This is a man complying." Reggie watched, a mix of hope and dread. "Truth's out," he murmured. "Now what?" Outside, the precinct was ringed by people, peaceful, resolute. Signs glowed under streetlights. "Shooting is not a reflex." Laverne and Corey stood front and center, sharing stories. "He gives kids money for grades," Corey said. "How's that dangerous?" Protesters chanted softly, artists projecting the body cam on buildings. At the courthouse, an emergency session convened. Pressure mounting for swift action. Judge Linda Braxton presided over a hastily assembled review board. Not a full trial, but a public inquiry to decide on charges. Witnesses streamed in. Laverne, steady. Corey, video in hand. Even a retired sergeant critiquing protocol. No de-escalation, no command, just fire. Dallard testified last, voice low. "I panicked, perceived threat." But the footage spoke louder. The board deliberated briefly, the day's urgency compressing time. Verdict: no criminal charges, but administrative leave and civil review pending. The crowd outside erupted. Disbelief, anger, resolve. Justice denied. They cried. Reggie, informed by Sims, sat silent. They saw fear, not facts, but the street had its own verdict. A town hall at the rec center overflowed, Vanessa speaking, not just for Dad, for all of us. Reggie arrived, brace and all, waving to kids. "Speak up," he said, "even if they twist it." As midnight neared, Reggie sat on his porch, tea in hand, stars above. The day had begun with a walk, ended with a wound, but also with voices rising. Murals bloomed, candles burned. He waved to passing kids, his good arm lifting. The pain lingered, but so did the fight. In one day, a shot had shattered silence, but the truth echoed louder.
If you liked this story, please like, subscribe, and share it with others so they can learn something from it too.